Are you still searching for ways and methods to improve your speed but without success? Well, you have landed on the perfect video. You see, everyone is trying to find that secret tool or exercise, but in reality, it is all about following principles, and that is exactly what we're gonna go over now. Now, I'm 100% sure you already know that the modern game is faster than ever. Recent studies have shown that elite level players are hitting unreal top velocities, many times going over 34 kilometers per hour. The fascinating fact, though, is that they can deliver those amazing numbers for a full 90-minute match, with the average total sprinting distances covered in the top leagues being quite high, most of the time even greater than 750 meters. Some amazing stats that certainly require genetics, but with a smart training approach, you can definitely get closer to those elite standards. So, how do you develop speed for football? Now, speed is a measure of how much time you need to get from point A to point B. There are two types of speed, or better said velocity: linear and multidirectional speed. A common mistake I see players and coaches doing all the time is solely focusing on only one of those two and not taking advantage of both. And for all of you that don't know, with linear speed I'm referring to accelerations and top velocity sprinting, and with multidirectional speed I'm talking about cutting directions, turning, and decelerating. All of these are important, and one area of speed development benefits the other. Therefore, training shouldn't revolve around a single training quality, but rather be versatile and put a slightly bigger emphasis on those areas that are either considered your weaknesses or that are more appropriate for the demands of the training block you're in. But what about the principles that should guide your speed training? Let's first talk about the intensity of your efforts. If you're not sprinting with maximal intent, you simply won't improve your speed. That's a fact. If you want to sprint sub-maximally, do that during the interval training you do to improve your repeated sprint ability or to slowly get back into top velocity sprinting again. Sub-max intent will drive little to no results. In other words, if you want to improve your speed, you gotta give it your all in every effort, and in order to perform with maximal intent, you also need to be as fresh and ready to train as possible. Now, in regards to the rep and set ranges, since we're talking about really intense and neurally taxing work, consider a 2 to 6 and 2 to 8 rep and set range per exercise. Rest is also vital during speed work. It is usually suggested to rest for at least 1 minute per 10 meters sprinted in order to recover most of the phosphocreatine you used. If that doesn't happen, you might feel like you're sprinting maximally, but in reality you will be producing sub-maximal outputs. In case you feel like you need more rest though, go for it. Your objective is speed development, not conditioning. The sprinting distances you use can also vary based on the desired adaptations you want and the focus of your training block. Having said that, acceleration work happens within the 5 to 10 meter mark, whereas top velocity sprinting requires you to travel a greater distance that is usually higher than 25 meters. Multidirectional work is another beast. Every cut and turn should be performed with maximal intent, and the distance covered varies. The only thing I want you to keep in mind is load management. The total training load can get out of hand pretty easily, so be careful. Overall, consider the demands of your playing level and your weekly training load with a team, if possible, and adjust the total sprinting distance appropriately. Now, in order to create a session that's designed to improve your speed, there are lots of criteria you need to take into consideration. For the sake of this video though, I'm gonna try and make it as simple as possible for you and give you the basic structure plus some tools you can use. However, if you haven't watched the previous parts of the video where I go over the sprinting intensity, the reps, the sets, the rest time, as well as the sprinting distances you can use, you're basically getting the icing on the cake without the cake. So please watch every part of the video if you're serious about it. Now, the way that I like to structure the speed work with our athletes is this. First off, we have the warm-up. For all of you that haven't watched our video on how to warm up, I'm a huge fan of the ramp protocol, something that gets the heart rate up and gets the blood flowing as our first resort, followed by some dynamic and ballistic stretching. As we progress, the warm-up gets more specific to the demands of the session, so we like to include some mobility and extensive plyometrics for movement optimization, like hopping and skipping variations. The goal here isn't to get you sprinting with Usain Bolt's quality form, but to get you, the footballer, moving within an energy-efficient range, as well as finding your rhythm and making you more aware of how your body moves. Then, we also like to use plyometrics, ballistics, or some sort of loaded power movement to potentiate your performance before sprinting. And then, of course, we transition to actual sprinting, be it linear sprinting, acceleration or deceleration work, cutting, turning, or curved sprinting, as well as the resisted sprinting. All of these sprinting variations are tools we use with our athletes to achieve their specific goals. Everything has a place and time in the training process. As long as you are aware of your needs, you understand and use the principles of speed training that we mentioned, and manage your training load appropriately, there is no doubt you will get faster. And if all of that seems to be difficult for you and you're looking for professional help, consider working with us. Check the link in the description and let's get started. Thank you once again for watching, guys. Have a good one.